Hey, everybody. We are back. I think it is. Can we call this the official? Can we call this the official launch? Last week we called it the soft opening. I'm going to call this the grand opening of the David Pollack Show. We are now on Patriot.tv, Patriot TV. Awesome new network, awesome people joining, and a fantastic lineup of some of the best podcasters, influencers, and talent on the internet, in my humble opinion. And so we're really excited to be launching on this network in this new effort to bring you all of the latest news, all the talk, none of the baloney. So welcome and thank you for joining. I appreciate you being here tonight as always. And we have a ton to talk about on a very busy Monday. Let me tell you some of the things we have working right now. Of course, last week you might have seen, I don't know, I don't have to have good grammar, do I? Letitia James fraud lawsuit in Washington, or not Washington, in New York, where they tried to suggest that Donald Trump committed fraud by devaluing assets in order to get favorable loan terms. We saw this, but the penalty there, almost $500 million, that penalty was thrown out. A massive win. We're going to talk about that. Of course, illegal aliens are still running amok in the United States, even though we're deporting record numbers of them. Most recently, we had a family killed on a highway in Florida when an illegal alien who received a commercial driver's license in California made an illegal U-turn, causing the van to slam into the trailer, killing everybody on board. We're going to talk about that and the efforts to put a stop to that right away. The administration's acting swiftly. We're going to talk about Cracker Barrel. Why? Because your favorite highway side breakfast establishment, known for their charming decor and those little triangular peg games where you jump the pegs and you try to win, they might be going woke. We're going to talk about that. It might not just be biscuits and gravy anymore. And, of course, the redistricting fight around the United States is heating up. Texas got their seats. California is gerrymandering to try to match it. We're going to talk about all that. Plus, we have a very special segment tonight with our good friend, the plush patriot, Puppet Carlson. So I'm excited for all of that, bringing it to you in a little bit different format. And so we're going to jump right into it. And this is that huge news I told you about, Letitia James, and that supposed, air quotes, fraud case against Trump. It's a massive win for the president. You guys have to remember what the president was dealing with prior to this election, and all the lawsuits, all of the verdicts, all the crime stuff. We're going to talk about all that right now. But a New York appeals court threw out the almost $500 million civil fraud penalty that Letitia James and Arthur, remember Engoron, or what is it, Engoron, slapped him with earlier this year. $500 million is gone. It's overturned as unconstitutionally excessive and political. Wow. This is going to be clip one. Check it out.
The New York appeals court is now throwing out the nearly $500 million judgment against President Trump in the civil fraud case brought by the state's attorney general. I want to go live now to our correspondent, Kara Scannell, in New York. So, Kara, update our viewers. What are you learning about this breaking news?
Wolf, this is a huge win for President Donald Trump. A New York appeals court 5-member panels have agreed to throw out the nearly $500 million judgment against the president. This was from the case brought by New York Attorney General Letitia James. Now, this is a 323-page opinion. The judges remarkably could not reach unanimity on any one opinion, and they note that there were profound disagreements in how they were analyzing this, but enough of them, they had agreed to this so that the case could move forward to the next stage where they expect it will be appealed further. But this decision does say that the judgment, the nearly $500 million, is thrown out. You'll remember that Trump had posted a $175 million bond that will be given back to him at some point. But that was a real significant judgment against the president. At the time, he was facing the criminal charges. It was unclear if he would be able to raise the money, but now that is no longer a concern. That judgment is against him, has been thrown out.
I'm smiling ear to ear. I'm grinning like that Cheshire cat. These people were running around celebrating all of the getting Trump. And I'm going to talk about her efforts to get Trump in a few here. But Man, this is justice finally. And even CNN is admitting it. She couldn't even get the words out of her mouth. They weren't unanimous. Let me explain how we got here. Back in 22, Letitia James sued Donald Trump under New York's Executive Law 6312. It's a statute, a very broad statute that doesn't even require proof of intent, damages, or even victims. Just a pattern of conduct that the Attorney General doesn't like, which she doesn't like anything Donald Trump does. The case went to trial in 23. You remember that corrupt DNC donor judge, Engeron? He donates to Democrats. I think his daughter worked for Democrats. He's admitted in the past that he let his emotions influence his rulings. That was the judge. In 24, he handed down a $354 million penalty against Trump, plus interest. And when Trump's like, I'm not paying that, it ballooned to over $500 million. He also tried to bar Trump and his sons from serving as officers in New York companies and left in place a court-appointed monitor to oversee Trump's business. The media cheered, of course. Democrats claimed victory. James bragged that she finally got Trump, but then he appealed. A 5-judge panel, as you heard, they said otherwise. They said that judgment violated the Constitution, the Eighth Amendment's excessive fines clause. And we all said it was. We thought it was ridiculous. Trump said it's ridiculous. And finally, judges will agree. It doesn't matter that they weren't unanimous. But what's interesting is that the two of the judge said the trial was so flawed that it had to be retried. One judge said the entire case should be dismissed. So these judges, when they were not unanimous. But it wasn't that they weren't unanimous that the penalty should go away. They weren't unanimous that the whole thing should be thrown out. And there's another appellant level coming up now. So what's going to happen is the finding still stands for now. The monitor continues to see Trump's businesses. Letitia James says she's going to appeal, but that's great because on appeal, I have a feeling this whole thing is going to get wiped out. And let's be clear about this fraud finding before the left runs around and makes it seem as if they won something, because they are. Letitia James is, and I'm going to talk about her post here in a minute. But take Mar-a-Lago, what they tried to argue was fraud, right? James said that Trump overvalued it. She said Mar-a-Lago was worth $18 million. It's a 20-acre oceanfront estate in the wealthiest neighborhood in the country in West Palm Beach. It's one of the most famous properties in the world. Empty lots in the same neighborhood sell for tens of millions. Empty lots sell for tens of millions of dollars. Independent appraisals put Mar-a-Lago between $300 and $500 million. Who's defrauding who? $18 million from Mar-a-Lago or $300 million from Mar-a-Lago? The whole thing's a scam. And remember, no bank lost money here. Not one. Every lender was repaid in full with interest. There was no victims, even though the law doesn't require it. No defaults. Just Letitia James calling fraud because she didn't like Trump, and she said she was going to get Trump. Now, let me tell you something that's really sort of awesome about all of this. It's like justice. Let me tell you about the justice, right? Because they love justice, and nobody's above the law, right? Nobody's above the law. While James is throwing around the word fraud and trying to get $500 million from Trump, guess who's facing allegations of fraud herself? Yep, you guessed it. Letitia James. Federal prosecutors are reviewing her own mortgage documents in New York and Washington, D.C. Looking at whether she misstated information for favorable terms. Wow. And she's not alone. You know who else might have got themselves in a little bit of trouble fudging some documents? Senator Adam Shifty Schiff. He's also under scrutiny for mortgage fraud, allegations tied to homes in California and D.C. In his case, it's really funny. He has this tiny little apartment in I forget the part of it, where it is in California, some little city in California, because he's a senator from that state, you know? So he has this little apartment there, but then a $1.5 million house in the swamp. $1.5 million, 4,000 square foot house in the swamp, and this tiny little less than 1,000 square foot house in California. And the funny part is he claimed both were his primary residence, saving tons of money on interest rates. So we'll see what happens there. But check this out. This is Eagle Ed Martin, one of my favorite U.S. attorney. Well, should have been the D.C. U.S. attorney. Now he's still at the U.S. attorney's office. And our friend reporter McCabe, they're out front of Letitia's house sizing it up to see how much it should be worth. Check it out.
It's not bad. Is there a back alley? I'm just sure there's like the Pratt building. Is there
You
a
want
back?
me to tell you how to access my...
No, I was just asking. I'm asking. Yeah, I'm interested. Because usually houses like this.
Tell me why you're here.
We're interested in the houses.
You're not interested in the houses. We know who lives here.
Is this like Second Empire?
It's just a track house. That's what all of these things are.
I know, but when was it built, do you think?
They're built before 1800.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, so, okay.
Why are you being so disingenuous about what you're here for? You're not here about the houses. You're here because of who lives here. It's my neighborhood. It's my block. I have a right to know what you guys look like your official capacity.
I'm just happy to be on a block looking at a house.
That's not true. Why won't you be
No,
honest?
he is happy.
Well, why won't you be honest with me about what you're doing? You are acting suspicious on my block in front of my neighbor's
I'm
home,
just looking
and you're not telling me what you're doing. That's not true.
Interesting houses. It's an important house. So, thank you. Have a
It's
good
not.
day.
It's just like every other track house on this block that were built by developers.
Right, they're beautiful. Beautiful neighborhood.
Thank you.
I mean, do you guys call this a stoop?
What do you think?
I don't know. Is this a stoop? We didn't have stoops where I was growing up. Is this a stoop?
I want to know.
You could
what
drop
you're
the clip.
doing.
Just checking it out.
You're not.
I love this, by the way. Reporter McCabe's a good friend, and so is Eagle Ed Martin. These guys standing right up front of the house, be like, I wonder what a house like this is worth. It is so fantastic. This is what I voted for, and I'm sure it's what you voted for too. I have the post here from Truth Social that Trump put up, if you have it. And this is Trump calling it a total victory. He blasts James, and he says the case was purely political lawfare. He thanked the appeals court for restoring fairness and talked about the verdict from the appellant division. Now, meanwhile, Letitia James put up her own post, dueling posts. She says basically the thing, you can put that up if you want her post. She's calling it a partial victory because the fraud finding still stands, and she promises to keep fighting. I mean, how disgusting is this woman, and how much of a hypocrite is she? It's so crazy. We'll see. I think the whole thing's going to get overturned soon. But here's the big picture. Because this case was supposed to be the crown jewel of the Democrat lawfare against Trump, but it's gone now, though, right? This was like, oh, we got him for $500 million. He commits fraud. Well, it's gone. It collapsed. And I think the fraud part's going to go away soon. And the whole lawfare machine is falling apart. Remember, there's a lot of other stuff out there. A lot of people are like, oh, Trump's president now. Everything's gone. It's not gone. Remember that hush money case that all the liberals were like, oh, Trump is a convicted sex offender, which he's not. That case is on shaky grounds and could be appealed, and I have a feeling it will. The Fannie Willis case, the RICO case, it's fallen apart. Fannie Willis has been dropped from that case. Nobody's really doing anything with it anymore. Certain counts have been thrown away. All of the January 6 cases, all those federal cases, those are gone. The classified documents case, gone. And that defamation case, the $83 million judgment there, that's still on appeal, and I have a feeling something's going to happen there too. But if you put this all together, all the Democrats' lawfare strategy is breaking down in real time, and it's absolutely fantastic. So look, when Letitia James campaigned on getting Trump and promising voters she would use her office as a weapon, she thought she would get away with it. Now, here's her saying it, just so when we celebrate, you could see what we actually won. This is clip 3.
This case has never been about politics or personal vendetta or about name-calling.
Illegitimate president who sits in the White House. That president, because he's not my president, he's an illegitimate president. His days are numbered. His days are numbered.
This case has never been about politics or personal vendetta or about name-calling.
We've got to get ready to mobilize, and we've got to get ready to agitate and irritate until victory is won, but more importantly, until Trump is defeated.
This case has never been about politics.
You could drop the clip. So, look, today, the $5 million fine is gone. Clearly, it was about politics. Her credibility is destroyed, and now she is under fraud scrutiny for herself. We'll see when Donald Trump stands up there at the podium and says, this case was never about politics. Donald Trump is walking away stronger. He's the president. He no longer owes $500 million to that. I'm not even going to go there. And every case that's falling apart, it's just proving that we continue to win. Now, let me give you a little update on some other lawfare before we change gears, because last week, the FBI, I'm sure you saw this. Remember all these pre-dawn raids and all these Trump loyalists? They did it to Roger Stone. They put a lot of our friends in jail. Well, the pendulum is swinging because last week, FBI agents launched a pre-dawn raid on the home of John Bolton. Remember President Trump's former national security advisor from the first term, and probably one of the most public anti-Trump people, establishment hacks who loves war? Well, now the investigation is focused on whether he mishandled classified documents, FBI going into his house because he drafted a memoir, a 2020 memoir saying essentially what Trump did and tried to, capitalize off of his access. But guess what? He's under investigation now, and that's absolutely fantastic. I have a clip from that. That's clip 4 here. Check it out.
The probe dropped when Joe Biden became president. So is this picking up where that left off, David?
It's possible. I don't know with 100% certainty, but it is notable, guys, that John Bolton, Ambassador Bolton's security clearances were stripped earlier this year by President Trump. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, took that security clearance away. They had concerns. The administration had concerns about Ambassador Bolton still being able to access some of these documents and have some of those security clearances. It's also notable that John Bolton had a security detail as well. Because of the threats from Iran on his life, that security detail, that government federal paid security detail, was also taken away.
Yeah, well, 37 other former and current officials accused of politicizing intelligence lost their security clearances as well, thanks to Tulsi Gabbard, who is a superstar and doing a great job. So all in all, you look at all of this, the cases that are falling apart against Trump. You look at all of the Obama officials being exposed for manipulating intelligence data, Obama himself, Hillary Clinton, all the investigations. You look at Shifty Schiff getting him trouble and for himself, Bolton getting it. It seems like finally, and I know we all wanted this for so long. It seems like finally we are getting what we asked for, and justice is coming. And I think more justice is coming. Don't follow the distractions about Epstein and all this other justice that didn't get. This is what we asked for, and we're finally getting it. Now, I have another topic that I want to get into. Before I do that, I want to welcome my first guest tonight, a very good friend of mine. She is the host of Open Mic. I don't know if it's Open Mic Ladies or Open Mic. She'll clarify when she gets here, but it's better than what I used to call it. And she's here to offer her take on everything that's going on. And I also want to ask her about this criminal alien that killed a Florida family nearby where her stomping grounds are. So I want to welcome to the show Miss Allie Legge.
Hi, David. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you, audience, for tuning in to this fantastic show every Monday. I mean, you can't get better than David Pollack.
You're right. You really can't get better. I mean, a lot of people try to get very close, but it's hard to get better than David. I agree. But you're pretty close. You're pretty good.
I like to argue Open Mic on Patriot.tv is actually a pretty fantastic show.
I agree. All the shows on Patriot TV are pretty fantastic. That's why we're all here. So it's Open Mic, not Open Mic Ladies, but you go by the Open Mic Ladies, right?
Yes, on social media, because there are other Open Mic, I guess, accounts, so we had to make ourselves look a little different. So Open Mic Ladies works on social media.
Okay, see, that's what got me. Anyway, either way, fantastic show. You guys should watch it. They're Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern, and fantastic show. I've been on there. It's hard to compete with you guys. So you guys are really, really good, and so I appreciate you being here. Look, Allie, I want to get your take not only on the, let me first get your take on the lawfare situation and what's happening with Letitia James. And then I want to pivot to this illegal alien story because, look, you're Floridian. And so I know you're going to have some thoughts on it. But let's first go to your opinion on this whole Letitia James thing. You have to be pretty happy, right? And tell me about Bolton,
Absolutely.
too. I mean, this is all pretty crazy.
It's interesting because they call us far right, but I think we've just been right so far. And
that's right.
It is proven true when you have a lawyer essentially bringing in false evidence, right? A faulty case. It's not airtight with evidence. It's all conjecture. And she really doesn't have a foot to stand on, obviously. And what's coming out right now is everything that we knew it was. And we are tired as the American people of seeing lawfare. We are tired of seeing the broken justice system the way it is. And not only does it speak to how terrible our justice system is, but how terrible our education system is when it comes to teaching our lawyers how to actually practice law. I personally believe that she should have her license revoked, her bar license revoked, and she should never be allowed to practice law ever again. If you cannot bring a case with airtight information and then it gets brought back because it was fraud, essentially, that she brought this forward because there was no, again, airtight evidence, she should not be allowed to practice. And herself is guilty or allegedly guilty of mortgage fraud. So how did we even get here? Like, what is this?
Well,
we've
know
seen
how we
the
got here.
weaponization of the DOJ, even amongst our friends. And frankly, we're sick and tired of it. And there does need to be criminal justice reform. I know that kind of like itches the right, but there is some things that do need to be changed and redirected with our criminal justice and how our courts actually behave.
Well, I mean, this is what needed to happen. All right. I mean, look, these people are hypocrites. They say no one's above the law except for them. They break the law whenever it's convenient. But what's so great about it, and we've seen this so much with Trump, is that the left tends to double down, like triple down. Anytime they see a little glimmer of success in their political strategies, they're like, oh, let's go further and further. And then they tend to go too far and it backfires. And I think that's what's happened with all these lawfare cases, that they just went case after case after case and tried to tear them apart. They went too far, and then there's this giant backlash. And the problem is when you set a standard like this mortgage fraud deal, when you set a standard like that, well, guess what? What do they say? I hate cliches, but if you live in a glass house, you shouldn't throw stones. Well, the Democrats live in the biggest glass house, and they throw the biggest stones. And so now I love seeing Letitia James being investigator stuff. I love how Ed Martin was standing out front of her house going,
I wonder.
And then McCabe was like, you call this a stoop?
I think the level of trolling that the administration, this current administration has is expert level. And we're all here for it. We enjoy it. I think, although it is a little funny, there is a level of understanding that you have to take these serious conversations and these serious things with a little bit of humor, because that's how we're going to adjust, right? That's how we're going to get through it. That's how we're going to cope with it. But it brings to a bigger issue. Like, we are so tired of seeing the weaponization of government, the weaponization of lawfare actually coming, the DOJ, the Department of Justice, the court systems coming for everyday American people. And he was right. President Trump was right. He is in the way of the elitists, of the ones that are trying to get and strip away our constitutionality, strip away this experiment of America. And that is why it is so important for us to all pay attention and to dispel the propaganda. What bothers me so much about this is that the Democrats have a plan. Their plan has always been to fabricate evidence, as we have seen throughout the last couple of 8 months with all of the disclosure that we've been under. The Democrats have fabricated evidence, and they have used the media to weaponize this information, this false information, to persuade the people to think a specific way in order for the people to persuade our governments the way that works, right? But we, the people that are smarter, that understand politics, that listen to shows like yours and mine, that listen to other shows across the nation, that join Spaces, right, which is another way of getting information, like on Shell Shocked and Pirate Radio. We are dispelling the propaganda and teaching you how to actually have these conversations with your family, your friends, your friend group, your school mom groups, and how to get involved and how to be the tip of the spear in your circle of influence in order for us to wield our political power to essentially go against the media propaganda that is going on, the Project Mockingbird, right? All of that, the Smith Modernization Act, which needs to be repealed. We are combating that and actually bringing it back into the fold where the American people truly understand what is going on, so that we can use that information in order for us to further the America First agenda.
I love it. And I agree completely. Let's change gears for a second with more things that talk about saving America. I'm sure you saw the story with this illegal alien, some Indian guy, last name Singh. I don't remember his first name. Don't care. He was driving a semi truck. Now, I'll admit that's how people drive in Florida. I mean, people literally, I wouldn't be shocked to see any type of vehicle making a U-turn from the right lane to go all the way to the other side of the highway. I think I see it almost every day. The further south you go, the worse it gets. That being said, these are Americans and they're idiots. We have plenty of those. We don't need any more of them. But under the Biden administration, an illegal alien who didn't speak English, who couldn't drive, couldn't read signs, gets a CDL, and this is a guy that should have been deported. Well, he's in Florida, and he makes this illegal, literally on the right, from the right lane of the highway, makes a U-turn through a median, and a van hit the side of the tractor trailer as he's turning. I think I have a video of this. This is clip 5. And so what you see here, this is the gentleman in question. You see that van drives underneath the tractor trailer. That killed all 3 occupants inside. Turns out that when federal investigators, as I mentioned, interviewed him, 2 out of 12 on English questions, 1 out of 4 highway signs, but he held that commercial driver's license from California. Here's Senator and future reelected Senator Ashley Moody talking about it, clip 6.
3 lives were taken unnecessarily from someone who should never have been on the road. And just a preliminary questioning of this individual showed he could not answer the majority of the questions that were presented to him in English. He could not understand roadsides. And these are the professionals that are supposed to be, trained in safety and driving these incredibly large and can be dangerous trucks if they don't know how to drive them in a safe way. And so we have to do something about it. We have to do it quickly because, look, California, Washington, they're not the only states that are putting out there proudly. We're sanctuary states. We know that other states are doing the same. And Florida and others that want to follow the law and ensure the safety on their roadways and in their communities should not pay the price.
Yeah, and I agree. And Ashley Moody's so fantastic, by the way, Senator Moody. I've had the opportunity to meet her several times. She is about as authentic and real as it gets. She's not like a politician, and she's going to do fantastic as Florida senator, second senator, and she's awesome. And so, so after this, Singh, he gets extradited from California, goes back to Florida, because he's facing 3 counts of vehicular homicide, even though he tried to flee. Our new lieutenant governor, Jay Collins, flew out to personally make sure he was coming back to Florida. Check this out. This is clip 7. Look, there's Jay Collins behind him. Personally goes and gets this guy takes him back to Florida to ensure that he faces justice here. He's also, thankfully, now under an ICE detainer because he's going to go back to wherever the hell he came from after this. Allie, what's your take?
Wow. That's honestly all I can say. I want everybody to
say more. We wouldn't have a television show.
I will. I'll say more. I can't shut up. There has been there's been only a handful of times maybe where I've been rendered speechless. And this is not one of them. I am just furious because every single state is now a border state because of the invasion that we had at our borders, both north and south. But also when you have sanctuary states that are willing to house and protect illegal criminal aliens. So the first thing that they do when they cross that border is criminal because they did not come here in the right way. So they're not doing it the right way. So they are criminals, right? That is the first thing. And the Democrat cities, these Democrat governors want to protect them from being deported. You are harboring and abating, right, a criminal. And then you're allowing them to actually work within the United States. So every single state has now become a border state. This could have happened literally anywhere. And it happened here in Florida. And I'm so sad about what occurred here because it could have been prevented. These people knew at the DMV when he filed for this CDL that he did not deserve it. The CDL is very difficult. It's a difficult test. It's a more extensive test than your driver's test. Why are there only 4 signs? that you need to know on a highway? I don't know. Did he pass a regular driver's test? Like, there's so many questions that I have about this. It doesn't make any sense. But I'm glad to see that he is back here in Florida, and I know that he is going to face justice. I don't think he should be right away deported. I think he should serve some time here in Florida because of this act that he occurred. I mean, it's vehicular manslaughter. Whether it's malicious or not, the intent doesn't matter because he did not know how to drive the vehicle. He was driving the vehicle illegally. If you and I are driving a vehicle illegally, we are going to serve time. We're not going to get sent back to wherever we came from. We're going to serve time, even if we were illegals, right? I think that should be the standard. And I think Florida is going to do it right. I know that our Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, came out and said that he is going to do his best, well within his law and everything within the his toolkit as Attorney General to hold this person accountable for what has happened to this family. I know that Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins has also said the same thing, and so has our great governor of Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis, has also co-signed on this. And I do believe that that family that has needlessly lost their lives deserves the justice, and a deportation is not going to do that. Yeah,
that's true. And look, there has been a law in the books since the 1930s that you had to be proficient in English in order to get CD. Then President Trump signed an executive order to shore up that requirement. Sean Duffy is out there checking to make sure that people are qualified. I think he removed initially 1,500 people from the roads based on it. And then
he also revoked this company's license to operate.
Good. Yeah. Well, now Marco Rubio, my favorite senator from Florida, my other favorite senator from Florida, he said effective immediately, the U.S. is pausing all issuances of worker visas for commercial truck drivers. And that's a direct response to what happened in Florida. Right. And on top of that, the Trump I mentioned about the 55 million, Trump says 55 million people currently in the U.S. on visas for potential deportations. Trump taking a look at every single one of them. So if you're here legally, you're okay. But if you violated the terms or gamed the system, you might be gone. And this is great that Trump's doing this. Because look, the increasing number of foreign drivers operating tractor trailers, it's not just endangering lives, it's also undercutting American truckers. We have Americans in need jobs. We don't need illegals coming in and driving trucks poorly. Exactly. So this is fantastic. And it's part of a broader success we've had on the border. I mean, as you've seen, I mean, the deportation flights, they're talking about getting their own planes because they're deporting people. Overall, we've had so much success on the border, Allie. I mean, I'll just read you some of these numbers here, okay? We have the lowest nationwide encounters ever at the border. It's down nearly 90% from Biden's average. The lowest border apprehensions in history, 61,077. The lowest border, the lowest daily average ever, 148 apprehensions per day. Under Biden, we had 152 illegals were apprehended every 2 hours.
Wow.
That's insane.
That is
and the lowest single day apprehensions ever recorded was just 88. So you contrast this with Biden, where 300,000 illegal immigrants crossed every single month. Look where we are right now. So the difference is being made, Allie. You have to feel good about what President Trump is doing with immigration. And not only that, being responsive to the negative effects that illegal immigrants are still having in America. It's going to take some time to get rid of them and all. But while they're here, it seems like we're doing the right thing, huh?
Absolutely. And I do like that we like to try to provide solutions. And for me, a solution would be that we would need to mandate that all of our weigh stations and our truck stations on the highway are utilized to vet to see who is actually driving, to see if they actually do speak English, to see if they actually do understand the road signs. Utilize those avenues in order for us to crack down on these illegal drivers from different sanctuary states. I think that is a way that we can crack down on this. We can prevent more lives being lost. And it's something that I think every governor, especially every Republican governor, would get behind. And we should start it right here in Florida.
Yeah. Well, Allie, thank you so much for being here. Great takes as always. Guys, don't forget to check out Open Mic with the Open Mic ladies every Monday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on this network, patriot.tv. Thanks again for joining, and we will talk again real soon.
Thank you so much, David. You guys have a great day.
You too. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, pay some bills, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about another woke controversy. One of your favorite roadside establishments known for their folksy games and down-home cooking, they seem to be breaking left. Will it hurt the business? We're going to talk about that when we return. Don't go anywhere. The David Pollack Show will be right back.
I'm Scotty Cahill, and I'm the founding partner at FinSec Life. FinSec Life is an independent agency that works with a multitude of carriers that brings the best pricing to each client we serve. With 40 plus years of experience in the industry, allows us to deliver unique results to each individual client. We do not get paid until your policy is placed, until you have your insurance. So we will do the work. We will ensure that everything is taken care of, whether you get the best pricing, whether you get treated fairly by the underwriting team. If you have an existing policy and you want to know whether the policy is performing as it should, or if you have additional needs for insurance, please contact us at 321-800-3901, and we'll be happy to quote you on a new insurance. The phone number again is 321-800-3901, and the website is finseclife.com, financialsecurityforlife.com.
Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for joining. As we talked about before the break, for nearly 50 years, Cracker Barrel's logo has been instantly recognizable. An old man leaning against a barrel, arguably filled with crackers, sitting under the company's name and that familiar golden brown. It wasn't just a logo, it was Americana. It symbolized rocking chairs on the front porch, biscuits and gravy, and that nostalgic roadside comfort. I mean, everybody knows what it's like to walk into that place with the wood floors. No matter where you were, whether you were off the highway in Florida or anywhere, you felt like you were going into something sort of country and old-timey. And it just felt comfortable. It felt American. All the stuff on the walls, the uncomfortable wooden seats, it's all part of the charm that we all love Cracker Barrel for. But this month, Cracker Barrel unveiled what they're calling their All the More campaign. They dropped the old timer from the logo, replaced him with a stripped down text only logo. It's modern and clean and sterile and soulless and completely divorced from the heart of the brand. Along with it, a $700 million overhaul, brighter lighting, which will not be good, revamped interiors, tweaked menus, and a new marketing push featuring a country singer, Jordan Davis. Here's the backlash, though. It's been swift. Customers online are calling it generic, and corporate conservatives are hammering it as woke branding, a betrayal of tradition. Donald Trump Jr. said the Cracker Barrel had erased part of America's charm, and Congressman Byron Donalds, future governor of Florida, chimed in. He said, even John Rich, the big and rich, he slammed the redesign, and the criticism wasn't just cultural, it was financial. Here's what some of the customers have to say about it. This is clip 9.
So Cracker Barrel thought it would be a good idea to go woke and to change their branding and, just become something that literally nobody wants here in America. You know who's happy about it? Every single one of their competitors, Bob Evans, Waffle House, Denny's, International House of Pancakes, all of them. Listen, stop it. Stop hiring these crazy white liberal women who think it's a good idea to go out there and change the world so they can check off their woke boxes. This is a dumb idea. Their stock is plummeting. When are you guys going to learn? When are you going to learn that this crap doesn't work? Stop rebranding. Stop changing things. Stop changing culture, the foundation of everything that people built their lives on and believed as a traditional value. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You don't believe in it. It is not a core value. It's not about inclusion either. It's about intrusion, because that's what you people focus on. So I'm going to go back in here and enjoy my Grand Slam breakfast. Sorry, Cracker Barrel.
I do like Denny's. I like the moons over Miami, too. But look, he's right. The stock nosedived, just down more than 7% in a single day, wiping out $100 million in market value. Some reports put the decline closer to 16%. For a restaurant chain already running on thin margins, that is not a rebrand. It's a wound. And so let's talk about this CEO who's steering the ship. Her name is Julie Fellis Massino. She's the CEO since November of 2023. She's been in the retail restaurant world for a while. She led Taco Bell International. Anyway, before that, she was in Taco Bell North America. She's been at Starbucks. She's been at a few other places, Sprinkles Cupcakes. I've never been to Sprinkles Cupcakes. She's held roles at Godiva, Coach, J. Crew, Macy's, and a bunch of other places. Anyway, she says this rebrand is about bringing Cracker Barrel into today and tomorrow, whatever that means. On Good Morning America, she insisted the soul of the brand isn't changing, claiming customer service and employee feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. She points to the remodel requests coming from store managers and highlights that Cracker Barrel remains affordable, especially amid tariff pressures. Interesting. This is clip 10.
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together and every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So because the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So we're doing everything for our guests and our team members.
Well, Julie Messino, it's wonderful to have you here.
Pleasure to
and
be
thank
here.
You for
thank you again.
answering those questions for all the crack.
Let me tell you something. Just because people ask for like a refresh, maybe they want new chairs. Maybe they want a couple of cracked tiles fixed. Maybe they want some new decor. They didn't ask you to destroy the whole damn brand, sanitize the Cracker Barrel, and ruin it. Because what is the Cracker Barrel without its charm? Just a generic restaurant with average food. I'm not saying Cracker Barrel ain't great, but what makes Cracker Barrel good is the charm. I mean, anybody can make biscuits and gravy. But the market's not buying it. Either are long-term fans of the chain. Here's the truth. Cracker Barrel didn't need fixing. I think something else is going on here. I think what happens is these companies, maybe they're woke, maybe they're not, but they hire woke people who don't respect America or our brands or institutions. It reflects a deeper hate that they have for our country. Remember Bud Light? Bud Light, by the way, used to be an American brand bought by a Belgian brand, partnered with influencer Dylan Mulvaney, who ruined the freaking brand. Now you compare that with American Eagle. Remember Sydney Sweeney? Remember the Good Jeans campaign? Remember what happened to their stock going up 23%? Because it was authentic and American. Americans want to buy things from companies that love and respect America, not the other way around. Cracker Barrel is alienating its customers and tanking its stock. Bud Light's chasing woke points and making cannies with trannies. And American Eagle is leaning into their identity of being American, and their stock is soaring. The lesson couldn't be clearer. Joining me now, she's more than just a fan of the Cracker Barrel, but she really does love Cracker Barrel. She was also an instrumental part of the Trump field operations team for the 2022 or 2024 campaign. She's a very active on the ground, a super influencer in my mind, a very good friend, and somebody who does a lot of work for our cause. I'm honored to be joined by Miss Real Politically Savvy. How are you doing today?
Oh, I am fine, David. How are you today?
I'm doing really good. Thank you for joining me on the new and improved David Pollack Show here on Patriot.tv.
I love this. I am so excited about you, this new show, about Patriot TV, your new format. Man, to the moon.
To the moon. To the moon's over my hammy. Like to have at Denny's. All right, so speaking of breakfast, let's talk about, because I know Cracker Barrel's near and dear to your heart. We talk on the phone. You're like, listen, I'm going to the Cracker Barrel. I can't be on your show tonight. I'm going to the Cracker Barrel. This has legitimately happened, by the way. I have invited her on the show, and she couldn't come because she was at the Cracker Barrel. So I know this is very near and dear to your heart, a very sensitive issues for you. So what say you about this Cracker Barrel rebrand? It's basically, it's just called the Barrel because they don't want any crackers there.
Okay. First of all, if we're going to go that route, cracker refers to white folks. And I never looked at that as I never felt attacked. I do now. The Cracker Barrel was, it was founded in Lebanon, Tennessee. It is a Southern staple. And me being a neighbor to Tennessee here in Georgia, Cracker Barrel is, if not every week, every other week for myself and my family, whether we get it delivered or whether we go there. And it bothers me because I feel like people are trying to erase American Southern culture. And if there, it makes no sense to me with getting rid of, you know, the entire logo altogether, which was not racist in any way, shape, or form. It was so easily recognized that when you saw even the, you know, when you're driving down the road, you see the, here's what's at this exit sign. You see that little brown and the orangey yellow, and you're like, that's it. That's my spot. That's gone. What are they going to do on the inside? Are they going to get rid of all of the old pictures that are hanging on the wall? And again, I feel very much attacked being Southern and this being American culture. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. They're trying to erase any and everything good about our history as Americans, even down to our restaurants. And don't give me any crap about, you know, they have whole walls dedicated like to the Tuskegee Airmen. So that just, none of this holds any water for me. They won't tell anyone who they're, you know, if what they're getting rid of on the menus, which is just absolutely garbage trash. I don't understand if your restaurant isn't doing well in a certain area, all right, move it, right? Do some strategy, but don't just change everything and saying, you know, this is overwhelmingly good, because it's not. And when I watched that interview clip that you just showed where she's talking to, that's Michael Strahan, right? It seemed to me very disingenuous that she was actually trying to convince him and his viewers, oh no, everyone loves this. That's crap, because that is one thing that had not changed since my childhood. And so you hold on tight to things like that. And now it's going to disappear.
Well, look, and I want to ask you what your take is on this, because there's two ways this goes, right? We can take the cynical approach and say, well, these people hate America, so they hire CEOs, they hate America, and they want to basically sanitize everything that we love and that's part of our culture. Or in the alternative, because that's what a lot of people are suggesting, that she's woke. In the alternative, and I don't know what this lady's politics are. I don't know if she's woke. I really don't know. I don't care. What I do know is that Disney did this with a lot of their rides too. You had these nostalgic rides at Walt Disney or at Disney World here in Orlando and in California. And they got rid of some of these iconic rides because they're like, oh, well, it's not consistent with the times. And, you know, you have all these people who work for these companies that make all these changes. And every time it does, you have the nostalgia people who come out and be like, what are you doing? Like, this is part of what we loved about this. And you're whitewashing it, you know. Do you think it's a reflection of the fact that some of these people are just disconnected from what makes America America? Are they disconnected from quote unquote regular folk because they're fancy CEOs living in their elite neighborhoods and they don't eat at Cracker Barrel? They don't go to Cracker Barrel. They just eat on the side of the road, and that's for those people while they eat at fancy restaurants. And maybe they just don't understand their customer. Or do you think it's part of a bigger strategy, and maybe they really do hate these brands because they reflect a version of America that they think doesn't deserve to exist anymore? What do you say?
I would be eager to want to know where this new CEO, where was she born? Where is she from? Because I honestly feel if she was from the South, that she would understand what this massive change means to us. And it may seem so small to people. For instance, I don't really think they have Cracker Barrels in like California, right? Or on the left coast.
I don't even know.
But it is a staple here to true Southerners. And it's just, I'd be eager to know where she was from, because she just doesn't understand how true Southerners, how we love our history and our heritage and our culture here, and how we hang on to it, because it is a romantic history in the United States. And it makes me sad, because how someone may feel on the left coast, that's not how we feel here in the South. And yet we have to endure it, which with something like this, with Cracker Barrel, I don't see any positive happenings with this change. I actually see people like myself that are like, nope, all right, until this changes back, I will not go to Cracker Barrel. And I know there's so many other
Wow.
people just like me that will do that, which will in turn, the company will cease to exist. I mean, and we have within our movement, we have the power to do that. We saw it when Target tried to go like super woke. So we just didn't go and shop there. Their stock plummeted. Bud Light stock plummeted. I mean, the list goes on. But it really makes me sad because little things from, my childhood and those that are in my sphere, they're just erasing it. And then it's just going to be a memory. And that really, really makes me sad because, there was something so Southern and so beautiful about all the rocking chairs lined up with the big checker mats, right? Or going in and playing the little golf tee game, looking at all the old pictures and all these artifacts from, farms or within, Southern culture or the country store. That is one of my favorite things to do. You get there early before I'm supposed to meet my mom for dinner. And you go through the store, they have a massive like Americana section, but then also getting an idea. So when you leave, then you're back in the country store picking out everything that you want. And it really, really makes me sad that there are people that want change, but they don't consider the impact. They're considering what maybe a small fringe group may feel, but they're not considering the impact on people like myself, everyday, normal people who genuinely love that establishment and what it stood for.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Look, the market dictates. And if their stock plummets, somebody else will come along and create a Southern branded restaurant that you can get biscuits and gravy at. That'll be more respectful of their customers. We'll see what happens here. The stock fluctuations, they're either a buying option or a sign of or a buying opportunity or a sign of things to come. Savvy Savage, thank you so much for being here and giving us your take on the Cracker Barrel.
Thank you for having me, David. And I'm so proud of you, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for joining. We'll see you again real soon.
Okay.
Well, now I was going to change gears. I wanted to talk to you about the Texas Republicans finally scoring their major victory and redistricting. Gavin Newsom hitting back and trying to gerrymander his state. There's a battle over seats. I don't know if I'm going to have time to get into it, but I know somebody has a very strong opinion about this and everything else we talked about tonight. I want to welcome to the show for a segment we're calling Puppet Carlson Tonight. Welcome, my friend, the plush patriot, my pal, Puppet. How are you doing today?
Hey, Dave. I'm doing real good. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. So, you were watching the show. You were excited. You wanted to have a take on it. I want to know, Puppet, what do you think? I mean, let's talk about between Cracker Barrel, between illegals killing Americans on highways that with CDLs they shouldn't have, for lawfare crumbling, even redistricting and gaining seats. What's your take on all this, Puppet?
Well, first up, Dave, let's talk about Letitia. I swear I'm not politicizing this, James. She just took a big L, an L bigger than the subscriber drop at Disney Plus, quite frankly. I mean, the lawsuit against Trump, it's done. It's gone. The judge says, this ain't monopoly. You can't just fine a guy because you don't like how he builds hotels. And so now, just exactly what Trump said before he took office is the reality. It was a fake lawsuit, fake news.
And so Letitia's gone. We have illegals being flown back to face justice. How does that make your cotton feel?
Well, this whole thing, this guy tries to make an illegal turn on the highway in an 18-wheeler, gets into an accident, blocks all the lanes, kills a Florida family in a fiery crash, and all of it could have been avoided with a background check and enforcing the laws we already have. And he was denied a work authorization years ago, and he still managed to get a commercial driver's license in California because apparently the DMV out there gives these things out like Oprah gives away cars.
or semi trucks. And then what about Cracker Barrel? I mean, you have to love shoving the biscuits and gravy in your manhole.
Dude, I love biscuits and gravy. I mean, what the heck are they doing over there? This is the white woman CEO syndrome here, where you get these woke liberals in there. The place looks more like First Watch than it does like Cracker Barrel. The rebrand is so generic and really not what their customers are looking for. I mean, one minute you're sitting in rocking chairs, sipping sweet tea, and the next minute you're guilt tripped into gender neutral grits. I mean, they've gone from biscuits and gravy to biscuits and woke.
And it does look like, it looks like a dirty First Watch. That's what it looks like.
A bad First Watch, a bad impression of First Watch. But that's where everybody, all those people like to eat. They like to eat at First Watch and pay overpriced breakfast for avocado toast. When real people like us want to go to Waffle House and Cracker Barrel and have a real, pancake breakfast, look at a bunch of tchotchkes and spend our money.
Well, yes, we do love the Waffle House, and you and I have gotten into some trouble there. Puppet, thanks for giving your take. I look forward to every week, by the way. You're going to be offering, from what I understand, from what you tell me, if I can trust the Puppet, you're going to bring me a take that you have every single week and tell me what's on your mind. And we all need to hear from real puppets, because there's too many in Washington. We need a puppet that tells the truth. So thank you for being here,
Listen,
my
right.
plush patriot friend.
I don't let other people pull my strings. I say it how it is. And I'll tell you, that gravy better stay unwoke.
Well, either way, we'll get our gravy somewhere else. Thank you for joining Puppet Carlson. Don't forget to everybody check out Puppet Carlson at Puppet Carlson on every platform. Before we go tonight, because I only have a couple minutes left in the show, I have to do two things. One is a very personal matter that I have to share with you guys. I mean, you want to pull up Real Person Politics X profile. James R. You guys might know him from X. He is one of my best friends on that platform and a good friend in real life. They say X isn't a real place. X is a real place because I've met this man. I've met his wife. I've met his family. He is one of those knowledgeable, we call him Twitter lawyers. He's probably smarter than any of the real lawyers I know. He is a real lawyer as far as I'm concerned, even though he doesn't have a bar license. He's one of the nicest people on the planet, would do anything for anybody, super smart, great takes, brings everybody up, like everybody in his spaces that he hosts, the show he hosts, always helps people. And he's just one of the nicest people you can ever meet. He suffered a stroke earlier last week, and a lot of prayers went out for him. Twitter or X did everything they could to share whatever words of encouragement and prayers with him. He's doing much better, which is really good news. There's still some other stuff going on, but it seems like surgery was successful and he'll be okay. And I just wanted to send prayers and well wishes to our good friend James, and I hope you guys will as well. Go to that profile on X. There is a PayPal link where you can help him and his family in the recovery. But this cause is very important to me. James is a good friend, and we're wishing for a speedy recovery. One other cause I want to bring your attention to, the Warrior Shield Foundation. I have a link for that there. Warrior Shield Foundation is having a fantastic event here in the beginning of September. It's a country music concert followed by a gala, and this is to benefit a veteran organization, and they do this every year. They pick one organization. All the proceeds go to this organization, and they do this concert and this gala. I'll be there. There's a great silent auction, lots of ways to help. And this is, the board doesn't get paid. This is just what they do to help our first responders and veterans. So check out Warrior Shield, guys. I will be there. Last programming note. Later on tonight, you will see, I'm going to be all over the place tonight. So after this show airs, we have our X Space at 7 p.m. Eastern, as always. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be back at OAN filling in for the legendary Matt Gaetz on that show. So I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. If you didn't get enough of me, check me out on my X Space. We'll be talking about all this live. And then again, 9 p.m., catch me on OAN covering for Matt Gaetz. Congratulations on your new baby, Matt. All of that is coming up tonight. So you're gonna get sick of David Pollock today, but I appreciate you guys joining. We will be back next week, same time, same place. I think we'll be back. It's Labor Day. We'll probably do a Labor Day show. I'll let you know. But either way, we'll be back next week. And I appreciate you guys joining, the most important part of everything. And as always, make sure you stay classy, America. We'll see you next time.
Freeze drying again?
Never know what could happen.
Whatever the future may bring, dinner can be certain.